William, hopefully your favorite videographer from Two Hats Publishing. I welcome you to another Two Hats special of community events. Let's look in and see what's really happening.
Hey guys! So my name is Edwin Romero. We're going to get started with those that are students tonight.
Yeah!
Alright, so we're going to get started with the news chat. Just to kind of wake everybody up, because I know this sun is making us sleepy, right? So just repeat after me. I am somebody.
I am somebody.
And I deserve full equality.
Full equality.
Right here.
Right here.
Right now.
Right now.
My mother. She's somebody.
She is somebody.
And she deserves. Full equality.
Full equality.
Right here.
Right here.
Right now.
Right now.
The children.
They're
somebody.
somebody.
And they deserve. Full equality.
Full equality.
Right here.
Right here.
Right now.
Right now.
All right, thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
My name is Angelica Elizabeth Andrade Martinez, and I am the Community Outreach Coordinator for the North Texas Dream Team. I am so happy to see everyone here today. I feel truly humbled. The purpose of today is to raise our voices. I'm sure most of you have heard the story about Claudia and how she was murdered. And also the recent story that actually is not so recent, but about the children that are missing. And so I'm your MC today. I'm going to be introducing the speakers. We do have Sandra who's going to be closing out, but we have several speakers here today to speak. And really we're just coming together to unite at the forefront. We have Omar. Hi, Omar. He's going to be coming up and speaking. We also have the Brown Berets here. We have Raices, the Black Panthers. Who am I missing? Mavericks United. LULAC. United Fort Worth. ¿Quién más? Mothers Against Police Brutality. Where you at? Alright, so we got a good crowd here. We got a good lineup, so I'm going to go ahead and get this started, but here we go first with Omar.
Do I need to stand up on that, or are we good?
You're good.
Better on there.
Just stand up.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, in the name of God, the most compassionate, the most merciful. When this story first hit, I think that a lot of us probably had to take a second look at it and actually wondered if this was some kind of joke.
Right.
I actually thought it was a joke. I thought it was some sort of sensationalized title. Because a lot of times when you're reading these news articles, you see the title, and then once you read into it, you say, oh, well, it's not as bad as they made it out to be. This is one of those situations where it's worse than what any headline or any hashtag can properly convey. When we have to come together and say that 1,500 missing children is unacceptable, then we're in a really low place. And I was trying to collect some thoughts and just think about what I would say today, because we're here so often. And I know that a lot of us have this sense of fatigue. We keep on coming together for different causes, and we feel like we're getting spread too thin. And there was one chant that I will never forget at the Dreamers March in DC in March, that I have heard in a few marches, but this particular chant serves as my fuel when we have causes like this one. We see you, we love you. We see you, we love you. We see you, we love you. We say that to refugees. We say that to the undocumented. We say that to those who have not only been erased from the streets of North Dallas, or from those who have been erased from mainstream media, We say that to all of those who are compounded in their victimization because of the multiple forces that try to erase them from our sight. We see you, we love you. Sadly, in the case of these children, we don't see you, but we do love you. We don't see you, but we do love you, because it doesn't take much for us to actually think what 1,500 children actually looks like. Because when we start seeing our own children as potentially being amongst those 1,500, then maybe we'll connect ourselves at a deeper level. I don't have a fiery speech in me today. I really don't. This is a cause that just breaks my heart. This is the same sentiment that I felt when we stood after the murder of Jordan Edwards. And when a border agent or a police officer or a military drone tears up a family, either in Balch Springs or here at the border in Texas or in Iraq, it's all tearing up families. And you shouldn't need any fancy political messaging to say that tearing up families is morally deplorable.
Right.
But we have a president who is morally deplorable.
Yep.
And we have an administration that is morally deplorable.
Yep.
And we have a system that thrives on all of that that is morally deplorable. And so unfortunately we do have to say that. But I'm going to make a challenge, and this is what I told the North Texas Dream Team. This is what I tell Liz all the time. Anytime we are called to gather, we must gather. Because if children can be put in cages by animals, if children can be put in cages by animals, because they're not the animals, the ones that put them in cages are animals. If children can be put in cages by animals, then we can't give up. And so my commitment is that anytime I'm called by this coalition or by any coalition that's working for this cause, for a rally or otherwise, I'll be there. Will you be there?
Yes.
It's one thing for us to pray, and I'm an imam. I pray for a living. I believe in my prayers, but I don't just believe in prayer. I believe in my prayers, but I don't just believe in prayer, because I believe that the one I pray to expects something of me as well. And so we will pray for these lives, and we will pray for these children to be in the sight of God, and to also be in our sight so that we can help them. And while they are not in our sight, we pray that our advocacy for them will not only help them be located, but stop these vicious policies that will continue to lead to the erasure of human beings by animals. I want to thank each and every single one of you for being here, and I want you to stay dedicated. I know it's outrageous, and seriously, the headlines just keep getting more and more outrageous. But until our very last breath, we have to keep on advocating. Because you know what? We're not in a prison, and we're not in a cage. Mass incarceration is slavery. ICE are acting like slave traders. And the police, in many situations, are acting like an extension of the Klan. And the Confederate memorials stand all around us to remind us every single day that the system of white supremacy is alive and well. And that the only thing that they're trying to secure is whiteness in this country, and anything that does not fit a narrow definition of whiteness, that white supremacy is unwelcome. But we no longer welcome white supremacy as the citizens of Dallas. We no longer welcome that here. The city council can cower to it. The authorities can cower to it. But we no longer will cower to it. I pray that God blesses this gathering, that He blesses our efforts and these causes. I pray that He be with those children and that He reunite those families. I pray that we uproot the systems that continue to tear up black and brown families all around the world. And I pray that we be used in the service of those who have been victimized by the viciousness that we've come out to call out today. Thank you.
Buenas noches. Buenas tardes. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nicolas Hernandez, and I am the Outreach Coordinator for Raíces, or Refugee and Immigrant Center for Education and Legal Services. Raíces is a dedicated community organization that will continue fighting for every single immigrant that come through their doors. Raices has been servicing the immigrant community for over 30 years. And just recently, we were informed that this current administration is halting our free legal services for released unaccompanied minors. Raices said, okay, so we launched our LEAF program, our Legal Representation, Access, and Education Fund, where we are providing services for several of these children who don't have the funds available to them. At Raices, we believe in a fair representation. We don't believe that these children should be going to court and representing themselves. And that's where Raices will stand as an ally and as a partner in these refugees and asylum folk that continue coming to our doors. Because this country, this nation, was built by immigrants. It was stolen. This land is stolen from Native Americans. And to have the President of the United States say he won't apologize because his ancestors rightfully stole this land disgusts me. So I invite you all, if you cannot donate, please share and spread the word of our new LEAF project. We're trying to help as many children as possible because as you've seen from the pictures, that's the reality. You all get to go home tonight. You all get to hug your mothers, your sons, your children. Now put yourself in their shoes. And some of these children will never see their parents again. So I would like to actually take a moment of silence for the missing children, and especially for Claudia, because that night, that day that it happened, I know a bunch of us organizations received a bunch of emails saying the facts, and we were just in awe. Because this individual who was unarmed, who had just graduated with her accounting degree in Guatemala, was robbed of her future and robbed of her dignity. So don't forget. Thank you.
All right. When we first heard of the death of Claudia Patricia Gomez Gonzalez, the report from the Border Patrol was exactly like the reports you get when the Dallas Police Department kills somebody. The officer feared for his life. He was being attacked by a mob with 2x4s and other blunt objects, and he had to kill one of the assailants. Because of the people there was an eyewitness, several, they had to walk that back. And then it was that a group of immigrants rushed the officer, and he ended up shooting a member of the group. One thing you learn after you work on very many police cases is that the first news stories are not right. The first police report is not right. In fact, it's usually the opposite. So here we have an unarmed woman shot in the head, and so they have to create a situation where that would seem rational, that he feared for his life and he was being attacked. But it's not rational. And the whole Border Patrol policy is not rational. I mean, think about it. If I'm a rich restaurant owner in Mexico City and I want to open a restaurant up here, I call my banker up here. I send my money right across the border. Money goes where it wants. But if I'm a poor guy and I want to come up here and work in that restaurant, no. People, you go back. Money, yes. People, no. We even have a certain visa that if you invest enough in one of Trump's companies or any other company, you get a green card automatically. And this is what the Trump family does when they go to China. They find investors, and they offer them these visas, and they get investments of $500,000 or more. I don't have to tell anybody here that deportation policy was not that good under President Obama. In spite of other good things that he did, he was a mass deporter. But once the administration changed, things changed much for the worse. There were 4 things that happened. First, the priority system, where only a violent criminal or someone convicted of a felony would be deported. Now, since January 25th, 2017, just 5 days after the inauguration, any person in the country unauthorized, that's a priority. Get them out. Second thing that happened was that anybody, no matter if you've been here 10 years or less, if you were found without proper documentation, you would be charged with the crime of illegal entry. And if you come to the border now, that's where you're being charged with a crime. It's not that the Democrats had a law to separate families from their children. That's not it. That's all from Trump. But the thing they hang it on is that the parents being charged with a crime and they have to go to jail to wait for their trial. And their children can't go to jail with them. That's the rationale. It's like a rationale that's irrational. The third thing was that if they were going to a house to pick up a certain person, before they would pick that person up. And now they pick up that person and anyone else in the house. And then they can prove if they can that they're not a priority or that they shouldn't be deported. This is called collateral deportation. And then the fourth one, where I look like Rick Perry up here. The fourth one is that before they could even, a person who's in custody now, before they can even get the legal representation from ISIS or anyone else, they might have their deportation expedited. So expedited deportations. So we have a situation where a bad situation got a lot worse. And it demands a much stronger response from us. But I think that you can see from at least from the explosion of opinion on social media, that the children of this wrapped up in this, there's a lot of sympathy for them. And that's an entry point where we can talk about the whole irrationality of the border, of the way they work the border. Now, at Mothers Against Police Brutality, we look at these detention centers being held without bail, being picked up as collateral, and then being subject to deportation. And then just the sheer violence of what's happening on the border. This is just one case that got to the national press. But the border is not a calm place where they just say, "Sir, would you just stop running? I need to take you back to Mexico." That's not how it works. It's built on violence. All of these things are a blueprint for a police state. And everybody knows the old Nazi thing. The first they came for the gypsies, and I wasn't a gypsy. They came for the trade unionists. But in this country, today, from the start of the Trump campaign until this very day, it's first they came for the immigrants. And so a united group of people that are most directly affected, working in coalition with others who feel a responsibility, who want to help, who feel an ethical responsibility. This is a recipe to win, and this is what we've got. And it's a somber time, I know that, but just to close out with a little energy and also with a little bilingual energy, we are going to chant in Spanish, "We support the children." And I'm going to ask all my people who are bilingual to forgive this accent, but try after me. Apoyamos.
Apoyamos.
Los niños.
Los niños.
Apoyamos.
Apoyamos.
Los niños.
Los niños.
Apoyamos.
Apoyamos.
Los niños.
Los niños.
Keep the faith. Thank you.
Good. Sorry we have to be under these circumstances once again. Our mission here today is to show unity between
black and brown people of this country.
All right.
All right? 200 million European immigrants have decided the policies for the United States. Notice I use the term European immigrants, because these are the real immigrants, because this land belongs to the indigenous people of this country.
That's right.
Yeah? The Mayas, the Incas, the Aztecs, the Africans, the original people. As you know, this land was taken by force.
Free the land.
By
Free the
youth.
land.
Free the land.
That's right.
What we want to address today is we have the same common enemy. And when you hear me say these words, I'm not calling all white people our enemy. What I am saying is the system that we are governed under is the enemy of the people, unless you are European descent.
That's right. That's right.
No way a Latino, a South American, a Mexican should be called an immigrant.
That's right.
That's right.
This is your country.
That's right.
I love Santa Ana. Wish she'd have whooped Sam Houston's butt. But it didn't turn out that way. What I am here to say today is our president has not made America great. He has made America hate. And we have to understand what we are dealing with in this day and in this time. The black man and woman, the Latino man and woman, the indigenous people, at this time in America's history, we have to show unity.
Yeah.
That's
right.
We have to show unity. There was no reason for Claudia to be murdered at the border. And just like all police officers, there was a lie that followed that says she ran up on him with a stick.
That's right.
She has a stick, you have a semi-automatic weapon. Why did you shoot her in the head?
That's right.
Why did you shoot her in the head?
Oh.
Could you have not shot her in the shoulder, the leg? Something that would have preserved her life so that she would be able to tell her story. This is what we're facing today all over America. If you're not pissed off and you're not upset, then you're part of the problem.
That's right. That's right.
Do you understand what we're saying? If you're not pissed off and you're not upset, you are part of the problem that we're having here. Every state, every city is ran by others, immigrants. They are making the policies. They create the policies that allow police to gun our family members down and then face no repercussions.
That's right.
Murder is murder. I don't care if you wear a badge. I don't care if you were ordained to be a damn police officer. If you shoot somebody down in cold blood, your ass should go to prison.
That's right.
That's it, that's all. That being said, I'm not going to waste too much of our time. The energy here is outstanding. I salute all of you that came out to support this issue today. I'm looking around and I see all these handprints that represents the children that have come up missing trying to come to America and make a better life. They never got here. Where are those children? A lot of them have been sold into slavery. A lot of them have been murdered for body parts. We're living in a different time and a different evil place right now. So it's going to take us all to come together collectively in unity to change the conditions that we're in. Now, if you will, I'm going to end on this. I want Claudia's family to be able to see that there is a unified movement going on. So when I say her name, you say her name, Claudia Gomez. Is that correct? Say her name!
Claudia Gomez!
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 Peace and power.
Sorry, I'm not going to stand on this thing. I don't know if I'll be able to get off, okay? First of all, I'm coming here as a Brown Beret. Second, I'm coming here as a mother. a mother of 4 kids, from the age of 31 to 19. And I always tell my kids, just get home. If you get stopped by a police officer, just come home. That's all I ask. You obey the rules and just come home. Nowadays, even obeying the rules doesn't even count anymore. It doesn't count for these murderous police officers that we have out here in these streets. Now, what are we going to do about this?
Fight back!
We're going to fight back. And how do we fight back?
Vote them out.
Get these people out of here. Anybody that you see or hear that is not working for our people, our indigenous people, our black and brown people, get them out. Don't just talk about it, be about it. Second of all, these children, how do you lose almost 1,500 children? How do you lose almost 1,500 children? Racism. A lot of it has to do with what Brother Omar said, Babu said. These people are taking our children from these border towns that are being deported and using our children for body parts. You guys don't want to believe this, but it's true. A lot of these kids that were picked up, they are being sold. Their body parts are being sold. First, because they're not exposed to the food that we have over here. That's first of all. With the preservatives and everything, they eat healthy over there in Mexico, with no preservatives. So those organs are precious to these people that are buying them. Please, we have got to get somebody to find where these children are at. We're not going to be able to just sit back and say, okay, well, somebody else will try to find us. No. Each one of us has to write a letter. Each one of us has to go to our elected officials and say, where the hell are these children? I want to know where these children are. So, if you guys are here, standing with me here, and wanting to come out here and rally about Claudia and the almost 1,500 children that are missing, you have a voice. Write a letter. You can go show up at your elected official's office and go and demand justice and demand to know where these children are. So, anyway, whose street?
Our street.
Whose street?
Our street.
Thank you.
I am a high school student and the daughter of 2 Guatemalan immigrants. I am Mirka Sosa. I am a high school student and the daughter of 2 immigrants from Guatemala. The immigrants that come here for prosperity and looking for a better future, like Claudia herself, and I have something really short to share with you. We are not animals. Coming from a developing country does not make us inferior. It does not make our voices worth less than any other, though they may be unheard. Being born poor is not a curse, but an opportunity. But when people take this opportunity, they are oppressed, otherwise shot, like Claudia Gomez herself. However, justice needs to be done. Justice will be done for her and her fellow Guatemalan community, the nearly 1,500 undocumented children lost, and those others who have undergone a similar situation. My prayers go out to Guatemala. My prayers go out to the children.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here this evening, because we got a situation that we're gonna have to take care of. We can't depend on no elected official or anybody else. But one thing we do got in common, we got a right to vote. And that's what we need to do is vote, vote, vote. That's what the 8th Bill of Randolph is all about, educating people why they should vote in every election. Because the small election is what makes the president be a good president. Also,
So I'm here tonight. I got voter registration card for anybody done lost or need to register again. I need you to come see me. Because we're going to get their tail up out of here. We're going to start at this city hall. Because we got a lot of people up in this city hall don't give a darn about these children. All it's about is how much money I can get under the table. But let me tell you, we gonna pull together. Every organization out here, get my card. Because what you have that you're gonna protest, I will show up if I can get there. And I'm a big mouth, a big mouth. I am a big mouth. And we need to all pull together. So the organizations that is out here for fame and fortune and whatever else, for the wrong motive, hit the road, Jack. Because we are serious about our business. And we're going to get this craziness stopped. Because 1,500 kids, almost 1,500 kids missing, the devil is a lie and they are full of you know what. And what I'm telling you tonight, we got to come together as black and brown. We got to come together because all the differences that we have, it was planted in our mind when we came to this country. Once you get to know somebody, you begin to find out different. But let me tell you, we gonna do this thing. We gonna make it happen. I got a little chant that said, who run this city? We run this city. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Who run this city? We run this city. Keep the faith.
All right.
Buenas noches a todos, ¿cómo están? Bien. Pues no los quiero que estén bien. Estamos muy mal. ¿Por qué estamos aquí? Why are we here? For the children, right? Because a year ago, I remember that I was feeling helpless because I was undocumented and because I thought that my being here in this country bothered people so much that they had to go out of their way to bully people like me. And I went down to the Capitol, and guess what I saw? I saw children on the steps outside of where all of our lawmakers sit, the people that we elect. They were crying. And you know what they were saying? They were saying, I'm afraid for my mother, and I am afraid for my father. And you know what that did to me? It changed my life. Because I thought, if this little girl can yell that way and say, I am here to defend my mother, then I can do that for me, and I can do that for anybody else that needs that to be done for them. Because not everybody has the strength to come out when people are saying, you are an animal. When the Secretary of Education is saying, it's okay to call ICE on children. No. That's why we need to stand up for kids, for our parents, for everybody against these laws that are racist. Senate Bill 4, that was what we were protesting that day that I saw that little girl. And you know what? Senate Bill 4 is still here. And now not only do we have Senate Bill 4, but we have programs like 287G in Tarrant County. And those programs, yes, we need to know about these programs. Because those programs are tearing our families apart. They are part of the chain of the deportation machine. And we need to come together. We need to tell everybody that what is happening is not okay. That it is not okay for us to be here today on Memorial Day weekend when we should be at home with our families, with the young people in our families, and being able to tell them, hey, it's okay to trust authorities. Because it is not okay to trust authorities right now. It is not okay. No, when they're shooting us in the head for just wanting a better life, it is not okay to trust them. So how am I going to tell the little kids in my family, hey, if there's a problem at home, you can call the police. Whenever the police taunts us, whenever the police separates us from our mothers, and they come to our houses, and the first thing that they might do, or when we get pulled over by the police, the first thing that they might do is ask for our country of origin, for trivial things that shouldn't make anybody different. There is no reason
for people, for officers, for anybody to say you have less of a right to be here just because of freaking papers. There is no reason for anybody to think that way. There is no reason for 1,500 kids to be missing. There is no reason for us to not have answers. Where do we look for truth? Whenever these stories keep changing, whenever we don't know what's going on, and who's accountable here? Because I want to know who's accountable, so we can go and get them out. When ICE exists, when Border Patrol exists, we will continue to fight, and we will continue to be here for children, for mothers, for fathers. That day that I was outside of the Capitol, I heard this chant, and we already sang it today, but it's a really beautiful chant because I felt it in my heart whenever I sang it. Because I had never thought that I was as equal as someone who was born in this country. And now I know that that's all bull crap, but now I know that. So we're gonna say, yes, it's bullshit. It's bullshit that just because it's papers, I am considered different, my mother might be considered different, and we have to deal with, if there's violence in our homes, we're gonna be afraid of calling the cops because they might take my mother away. That's not okay. And so this chant really let me know that I was somebody. So I want us all to say it. So repeat after me. I am somebody. And I deserve full equality. Right here. Right now. My mother is somebody. And she deserves full equality. Right here. Right now. My community is somebody. And they deserve full equality. Right here. Right now. The children are somebody. And they deserve full equality. Right here. Right now. Thank you so much for being here.
First of all, I want to thank you. Thank for all the organizations that are here this evening. At the same time, I want to, again, the organizations are co-hosting tonight. Raices, North Texas Green Team, and Mothers Against Police Brutality. Again, this is an amazing work that our community needs. As a representative from District 3, LULAC, and then also the North Texas LULAC, we want to show the community that we're here. We want to ensure that we're here for the community, working together with our new leadership and then other organizations, because it's very important for us to be aware of what is going on, especially with there's almost 1,500 children that are lost in the system. Articles say that these are children that our families come to this country for a better life. These are kids that that get lost in the system. They fall through the cracks. And me as an educator here in Oak Cliff, I work with students day in day out, high school students, ensuring that they have a plan after high school. And so it hurts when we see this in our community, that children are being lost in the system, with the same system that is supposed to protect them. And so this is where we come together again as organizations, but more importantly as a community, as an individuals, because we can and we will, be able to support and do the things that we need to do for our community, stand together. So I'll end with this. Can we all just come together with hold hands and have a moment of silence? As again, just to acknowledge everything that is going on in our community. And then from there, and I'll leave it at staff, if we can all just come together, hold hands as individuals and as organizations.
I'll connect.
And then please bow your heads. Again, thank you for being here this evening, and again, anything that we can do, we will do. And again, thank you for the organization supporting this vigil here this evening to share and spread awareness for what's going on with our community. So thank you.
Buenas noches. Good night, everyone. Thank you for being here. Gracias.
Can you hear me? First, I wanted to start off by sharing a little bit of how this came to be. This first started as we were about to celebrate the anniversary of what Linda was sharing earlier. A year ago, tomorrow, we were in Austin. I was there with my daughter, and that was the first event she was out with me, and we were there, and like she shared, we saw a lot of children there, and a lot of moms and a lot of parents. They were in fear. They were in fear of SB4. They were in fear of what was going to happen to them once I came back to Dallas. And so, but at the same time, you got to see them in power. You got them to see that they were willing to step up and say, I'm undocumented and I'm not afraid. Sin papeles, sin miedo. And that was the first time I was able to see that in person, and it empowered me more than ever. And since then, I've been with North Texas Dream Team. And then also, and then as we began talking more about it, we learned about the 1,475 children, and later about our sister Claudia. And what all of this has in common is the need for a better immigration system. We can't continue to have laws that attack our communities and separate our families. And most definitely, we can't continue to lose family members in the hands of ICE for trying to cross the border for a better life. This is our time to unite. This is our time to fight back together. First, I ask that we all educate ourselves in what's going on today. I ask that we start supporting each other. We start coming together as communities. And understand that we all have the same struggles. Unite as our Muslim community. Unite as our Black community. Unite as our TPS community. Unite as the Asian community. Unite as the LGBTQ community. And then I would like to end with our handprints that are here. This is personally one of the best parts here to me, because I wanted to have something that brought the attention of the importance of each of that child. Because easily we can say 1,475, right? But when you actually see each hand that is reaching out to each of you, asking for help to see their family, asking for help so that they can grow here and have a better life, because they're in fear of going back to where their homes are. So I ask that we not only leave it here tonight, but we continue by signing petitions, by voting, by going to organizations and supporting different causes, and uniting as a whole. Understand that as Black communities, we suffer police brutality. But yes, you know what? The Hispanic community suffers it too, with SB4. Thank you. Where are you at?
Daniel.
Well, I'm gonna jump.
There he goes.
Where are you at?
Daniel here is going to be doing a spiritual ceremony. It's just going to really cleanse the area and bring in positive energy. So he's going to be doing that as we end this, okay? Yes. So I'm going to end this with just looking around. I just want to say how happy I am that we all come together. This is really a historical moment. I just want everyone, each and every one of you, to realize you are all historical beings at this very moment. There's a lot of things going on, but this has brought us together, right? We are united. We are all here, and we're all fighting with each other. Not with each other, no. Aside, right? So I just wanted to just say a few things as far as just to kind of really understand where we're all coming from, and that we can all support each other. So we're gonna start with the first one, which is I'm gonna say Black Lives Matter, and then y'all say Black Lives Matter, okay? So we got Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
No human being is illegal.
No human being is illegal.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Dream Act now.
Dream Act now.
No ban, no wall.
No ban, no wall.
Flint still doesn't have clean water.
Flint still doesn't have clean water.
Remember Claudia.
Remember Claudia.
All right, so I'm gonna end it right. Well, actually, we're gonna do one more. Sorry. All right, so we're all here together, so I want us to really take that moment in and really believe that we are going to win, right? So here we go. I believe that we will win.
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 I want Chuck to hear it. I believe that we will win.
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 All right, now y'all give yourself a round of applause. I just want to praise them out. I'm very happy to see the Black Panthers here. Honestly. And Fred is like one of my role models, and so to really end this out, I want everyone to realize that we are all revolutionaries. And so we're going to raise our hand up, and we're going to say, I am a revolutionary.
Revolutionary.
I am
I
a revolutionary.
Revolutionary.
One more time, I am
I
a revolutionary.
Revolutionary.
All right.
Okay, folks, thank you all so much for coming out. We do have some announcements from community leaders, so you guys can stick around, network, take pictures, and spread the word. We're going to have some light music playing, but somebody that would like to get an announcement is Mayra, and she's leading an event tomorrow that's very necessary in the Latino culture, so please pay attention.
Hi everybody, my name is Myra. I want to invite you guys out. We are having a Latinx community conversation tomorrow, candidly confronting our racial bias. It's going to be a great event. Everyone's invited. Check out the Eventbrite happening tomorrow at 7 o'clock. You can search Latinx community conversation. You can search Latinx community conversation on Eventbrite. Go ahead and register. We'll be there tomorrow. We have some great panelists and some great topics discussing black and brown. One of the quotes that I got from one of the panelists has blown my mind. It's black and brown solidarity already exists until we're anti-black. So come join us tomorrow. We're going to have a great conversation.
Next up we have Julio Acosta.
So hello everybody, my name is Julio Acosta. I'm a democracy fellow with Faith in Texas. Right now we're working on a campaign to try to get enough signatures to bring something in November for voting for earned paid sick time. 4 out of 10 people in Dallas don't get earned sick time at their jobs, and we're trying to change that. So we're going to try to put it on the ballot, but we need signatures. So I have sheets here. If you're registered to vote in the city of Dallas and you live in the city of Dallas, please find me. I'm going to be here for another 30 minutes, an hour, as long as needed. I can get 20 signatures. Again, it has to be a person that's registered to vote in the city of Dallas for earned paid sick. He'll be able to give you more information, Lee. He'll be able to give you more information, but basically just find me, okay? Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all so much.
Last up, we have your local legend, Edward Romero.
Alright guys, so for whoever's still listening, I want everybody to know that an agency like Immigration and Customs Enforcement did not exist up until 2003. So what we are doing here, for whoever's still listening, is we are going to work towards the defunding and the abolishment of ICE. This agency was created post 9/11 with the whole hyper-militarized, xenophobic narrative that they started in 2001. So in 2003, ICE came along and they lied to the American community. They said that ICE was supposed to protect the community, but all that ICE has been doing is terrorizing our communities and separating our families. So we are calling for the defunding and the abolishment of ICE and now Custom and Border Protection, because they're the ones that are responsible for murdering Claudia Patricia Gomez Gonzalez. So if you want to keep in touch with our organizations, we're going to be looking for, because a lot of people think this is just a troll. Oh yeah, they want to abolish ICE. Well, they're never going to do that. No, we're serious about this. So if you want to stay in touch with us and see how we're going to go about doing this, follow North Texas Dream Team on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Raices, United for Word, Mothers Against Police Brutality, all these organizations, because we're going to do this. We're going to defund ICE and we're going to abolish ICE.
Thank you all for coming out. We're going to be here until 9 p.m. Let's mingle and network and see how we can abolish ICE. Thank you all for coming out.
Thank you.
This is William, hopefully your favorite videographer from Two Hats Publishing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, please leave comments below or like, follow, or subscribe to us and get notices of all our videos. We love it, even when you call.